All right. Brief return to summer weather, but we have a special weather statement in effect for many parts of the province. Here's senior meteorologist Kristi Gordon with more on who's going to get hit and where.
Thanks so much, Chris. Yeah, so this really is the kickoff to the fall season as a very strong cold front is expected to move across southern BC. It has prompted Environment Canada to issue a special weather statement from the Fraser Canyon all the way across the region with strong winds, gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour, potentially heavy rain at times and thunderstorms. And they're urging everyone to be aware that these are the possible outcomes. Certainly power outages from broken branches, down trees, strong gusts on lakes likely to stay off the lakes throughout the day tomorrow. Crosswinds on highways, especially ones over higher elevations, the potential for localized flooding, pooling water on the roads, and the risk of debris flows. So we'll be watching this. It moves in tonight. Chris, when I'll come back, I'll show you a better look at the timeline. And there's one part of the province that is under a flood warning from this same front. I'll show you that. Okay, look forward to it. Thanks very much, Kristi. Try it all to get them to eat if you can. And as parents of boys, we both know what that's like, right, Kristi? Absolutely. I was a picky eater. My son is a picky eater. But the weird part is he does Mao sushi, which is rare for a picky eater. But we have a hard time with fruit, believe it or not. All right, this was the heat today. Check it out. Merritt hit 32 degrees, 28 in through Kelowna, 30 in through Soyuz, 25 out through the Fraser Valley. It was hot today, but the cloud cover is now shifting in. And this front is impacting the North Coast region, extending into the Columbia area, the South Thompson. There's high stream flow advisories, but the flood warning is in place for the Telkwa River, where we are expecting the moisture to continue through the remainder of the day before it begins to slide south. Here's that front. It is an atmospheric river that's just continuing to pummel these areas and have been for almost 2 days now. As it shifts further south, it will impact these southern regions that I mentioned. The precipitation won't be as consistent. It's actually going to start to break up, but when you do see it, it will be intense. There's a risk of thunderstorms along with it. Biggest concern, though, really for this area is the winds, where we could see gusts 70, 80 kilometers an hour as it pushes across. We're also expecting windy conditions here across the south coast. The bulk of the rainfall shifting in late tonight, continuing overnight and through the early part of the day before it continues to swing into the interior regions. So those of you across Vancouver Island, you may even see some breaks of blue sky by the end of the day, although we're expecting it to remain mostly cloudy here in Metro Vancouver. But there you go, a big drop in temperature as well with that, with highs reaching only 16 degrees, for example, in Victoria, 16 here in Metro Vancouver after the 22, 23 degrees that we saw today. We're also expecting gusty conditions on Thursday with some rain, not as much rain as what we'll see tonight and tomorrow. 14 degrees, though, will be our chilly high. Thankfully, some sunshine, though, by Friday, Chris. All right, we'll look forward to it. Thank you, Kristi. It's going to be too cloudy to see anything up in the sky over the next little while. Let's get the details now from Kristi. Windy too, I guess, right? Yeah, so this atmospheric river has been targeting the north and central coast really for about 2 days now. 150 millimeters of rain has fallen. That's why we have these flood watches and warnings. The warning is in place for the Telkwa River area, and we now have these high stream flow advisories for the South Thompson region right into the Columbia region. So let's have a look. Targeting the north and central coast right now, but you can see it now starting to slide towards the south. We've got rainfall developing across Vancouver Island right now, and that will continue to swing across our region. Ahead of that very warm sort of atmospheric river, it pulled in that southwest flow. Look at the highs from today. 32 in Merritt, 30 degrees in Soyuz. We were up to 25 degrees away from the water here in Metro Vancouver. So it felt like summer, but it certainly won't tomorrow. So there it is, shifting down across our region overnight. Periods of rain expected tomorrow morning, along with windy conditions. And then it shifts further inland for those of you in the interior. It becomes much more spotty, the rain, but it also has a risk of thunderstorms. And yes, you're expecting very gusty winds. For the late day hours across Vancouver Island, some breaks of blue sky, but it may not happen for Metro Vancouver until the evening hours. So this is your day tomorrow. Very fall-like indeed as this atmospheric river crosses the BC area. So temperatures from 30 degrees in some areas down to 18, for example, as a daytime high in Merritt. So a 12-degree drop tomorrow, whereas Metro Vancouver Vancouver is expecting 16 degrees. Gusts in Metro Vancouver only out to about 40 kilometers an hour. As we head into our Thursday, we're going to continue with some unsettled conditions, but not as much rainfall. Thankfully, a nice little break, though, in store for us for Friday afternoon. Here's tonight's Central Windows weather window, which is coming to you from, well, looking towards Mount Baker. Diane captured this photo from yesterday just before sunset, and that is what you call a lenticular cloud. It's a stationary cloud that develops sometimes over mountainous regions. Very cool. It looks like a little hat.
It does, doesn't it? All right, thanks, Kristi. Hughes surprised Palmer for her birthday after the team's training camp scrimmage in Penticton over the weekend. The two shared a hug and a chat and some pictures, and Hughes even signed the back of her personalized jersey, thanking her for her support for the team.
Oh, my son Jordan would love to meet Quinn Hughes.
Oh, someday.
Lucky.
Someday.
That poor woman has lived 105 years, and she still hasn't seen the Canucks win the Stanley Cup.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
She would be born in, 1919? So she missed the Vancouver Millionaires winning the Cup by 4 years.
Oh, that was quick math. That's impressive.
Yeah, I was impressed too.
Yes. So was I, actually.